Hello, classmates and Dr. Groves. This is Nicole Dalton, and in my MPA 520 week number 1, we are going to be discussing crisis and leadership. So for this week's example, I'm going to be using Rancho Cucamonga, and the reason why I'm using Rancho Cucamonga is because we have the beautiful foothills behind our community that you can see in the picture, and we have not had a large fire since 2003, I believe. So because it's been so long and we're entering into the summer months, we're starting to have discussions on what would happen if we were faced with a fire in our community. So I'll be using the City of Rancho Cucamonga and Rancho Cucamonga Fire District. So if we are faced with a fire in Rancho Cucamonga, initially the fire chief, the city manager, and the emergency management coordinator for the City of Rancho Cucamonga will need to make the decision to activate our emergency operations center. And obviously, if we have a fire in our community, that is going to be likely a go. And as soon as we start to get a fire, it's been experienced in the past with a small one, you are going to be getting tons of calls from residents wanting information whether or not they're going to be evacuated and, fearful of their home, which rightfully so. But what's important is the leadership aspect that comes into play with this. We are going to need to have the same consistent message across the board. So that messaging is likely going to come from either the fire chief or the city manager only, and they're going to decide what message they want to put out, whether the fire is not impacting any homes right now, fire evacuations, things like that. So things are going to be happening quickly, and decisions need to be made and be consistent throughout the Emergency Operations Center. And if evacuations were to happen, then that's where the police department is going to step in because they are the lead authority on evacuations for our community. So they're going to be the ones going door to door telling people they need to leave, whether it's recommended or mandatory evacuations. And if evacuations do happen, some of the things that are going to be impacted city services wide is probably stopping our community services programming at our community centers because likely, depending on the location of the fire in the city, that community center is going to be turned into an evacuation center. The next step that would be required for that is having somebody within the Emergency Operations Center reaching out to the Red Cross to assist in implementing that evacuation site. What's really great with that partnership is that they do it consistently for tons of different organizations, so they are going to know exactly what's needed to get that evacuation site up and running for our community members, especially when there's a lot of stress and chaos going out within our community. And the last and final thing that, this is just preliminary stuff. There's going to be a lot more that comes into play based on that situation, but the fire district is likely going to need to work with a lot of different neighboring agencies that are coming out to help our community and get this fire extinguished. So when it comes to emergency operations and crisis communication, it is important to have strong leadership, people that are involved and confident in their decision making and trying to bring a sense of calming to their staff, because when you're high stress level, it's important to have somebody who brings a sense of calmness and authority to the situation to make sure things are done efficiently, effectively, and correctly. So if we were faced with a fire, I think those are the things that we would first be addressing in the city of Rancho Cucamonga. One thing that I forgot to mention in the slide previously is that May is National Wildfire Awareness Month. So it's really important, even if people aren't in their master's programs, to start thinking about these kinds of scenarios and what steps they would take and who would be in charge in their organization if they were faced with a crisis. And that's something that we're starting to think about now as we enter the hot summer months in Rancho Cucamonga. So thanks for listening to my presentation. I hope you all have a great weekend.